Ministers are considering a ban on flammable cladding for high-rise buildings after the Grenfell Tower fire. Almost a year after the blaze in London, which left 72 people dead, the government says it will launch a consultation.
Having listened carefully to concerns, the government will consult on banning the use of combustible materials in cladding systems on high-rise residential buildings.
It comes after an official review today stopped short of recommending an outright ban, calling instead for a radical rethink of safety regulation. Also tonight, arriving in Windsor for wedding rehearsals, Meghan Markle confirms her father will not be there when she marries Prince Harry on Saturday. Government plans to cut the maximum bet on high-stakes slot machines from £100 to just £2 prompts warnings of big job losses. A woman is acquitted of killing her former partner in an acid attack that left him in such pain he decided to end his own life. And planning for the future, why Mothercare is shutting down more than a third of its stores.
Coming up on Sports Day later in the hour on BBC News, we hear from the England manager defending the inexperienced World Cup 23 that he's going to take to Russia next month.
Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. The government is considering a ban on flammable cladding for high-rise buildings after the Grenfell Tower fire, which left 72 people dead. Ministers and the time is 6:15, our top story this evening. Ministers are considering a ban on flammable cladding for high-rise buildings almost a year after the Grenfell Tower fire, which left 72 people dead. And still to come, last-minute preparations for the royal wedding, how Windsor is getting ready for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's big day on Saturday.
Coming up on Sports Day in the next 15 minutes on BBC News, an inspiring story in the Women's Super League. The Birmingham keeper diagnosed with cancer, but who ended up in the Team of the Year.
Hundreds of elite British Olympic and Paralympic athletes say they have themselves complaints here. None at all. How lovely. Thank you. A reminder now of our main story this evening. Ministers are considering a ban on flammable cladding for high-rise buildings almost a year after the Grenfell Tower fire, which left 72 people dead. That's all from the BBC News at 6. I'll be back with the latest at 10. Now on BBC One, we join the BBC's news teams where you are. Bye-bye.
What does it take to create a smash-hit restaurant business? Great food? Certainly. Great people? Most definitely. But first, you need a great idea.
If I was to invest, it will take £500,000 to £750,000.
We've quit our jobs
to
pursue this.
Your job.
We are not going to leave without an investment.
They have 1 hour to come through this door and make you an offer.
£1 Million Menu starts tonight at 9 on BBC Two.
Outside Source doesn't just report a story, it looks at it from every angle. Live data visualizations help us understand what's happening and what it means. Interactive maps take you from a global view right down to street level. Real-time reporting and reaction from social media means you get the latest as we do. And the BBC's unparalleled global expertise allows us to reality check the biggest stories. News for a digital world, Outside Source with me, Ros Atkins, tonight at 9 on the BBC News Channel.
BBC News on latest headlines. Preparations gather pace for the royal wedding at Windsor Castle. There's been a surprise appearance at Windsor by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And it's been confirmed that Meghan Markle's father will not be attending. The bride-to-be has pleaded for him to be given space to focus on his health. Meanwhile, hundreds of people line the streets in the sunshine to see the rehearsal of the carriage procession through Windsor. In other news, the government says it could still ban combustible cladding, despite a review after the Grenfell Tower fire suggesting an outright ban is not needed. A woman is found guilty of throwing acid over her former partner as he slept. He later died in a euthanasia clinic. The maximum stake on fixed odds betting terminals is to be slashed to just £2. The gambling industry claims it will cost thousands of jobs. In a moment, it'll be time for Sports Day, but first a look at what else is coming up this evening on BBC News. On Beyond 100 Days at 7 o'clock, we'll be live in Windsor as preparations get underway for Saturday's royal wedding. At 8:45 on Meet the Author, we'll be hearing from the writer David Hewson about his new book, Juliet and Romeo. And at 10:40, we'll look at tomorrow's front pages with Nicola Bartlett from The Mirror and Martin Bentham from the London Evening Standard. That's all ahead on BBC News. Now it's time for Sports Day.